happy Tuesday to all. We are live from the Patco here in Collingswood, New Jersey, heading on over to the city of Philadelphia. I really want to apologize for last night. We had technical difficulties and it just couldn't come on. And I just took my cold medication, so we just called it a night there. We took an executive decision. We called it a night, but we wanted to still give our thoughts over last night's 101 to 99 loss to the Miami Heat. Coming off of the Boston Celtics loss, obviously we still have the sour taste in our mouth, and this one obviously ended in a similar fashion to the Boston Celtics one, a last-second shot that unfortunately this case it did not go in, unlike on Saturday night where you just missed it by a second. Joel Embiid with the heave, and we all knew right off the bat it was not good. This game on Monday night, you're going up against another quality opponent in the Miami Heat. We know that right now for the Philadelphia 76ers, they are in a stretch where you got a lot of tough teams, a lot of good Eastern Conference playoff caliber teams, and this is all going to be a test for the Philadelphia 76ers preparing for the playoffs. The way I looked at the stretch, I didn't care about the wins and losses, the lessons that we're learning. That's how I always handle life, and that's what I always tell you guys. Everyone needs wins and losses. Everyone needs a win just for instant gratification, but this is basketball. This is a marathon. This is not a sprint. Every single game that they go through in the regular season, obviously you need to put yourself in a playoff situation, put yourself in the best possible spot to excel in the playoffs. But what you want to do is improve on and work out the quirks that you can't get done here in the regular season. You work it out so in the playoffs you don't have to worry about it. The obvious issues for the Sixers are glaring, right? Rebounding, transition defense. We all know that is one of the main issues here. Tonight it was, or on Monday night it was another issue. Rebounds again. Miami just made some key rebounds as always, and that's just the Miami Heat. They do the little things. They are get down and dirty, and that's just the Miami Heat way. They have always done this under Eric Spoelstra, and nothing has changed now with this iteration of the Miami Heat. And of course, our old friend Jimmy Butler. Oh, Jimbo. He got the last laugh as he, with an acrobatic last shot that made it a 101 game. I'm sorry, a 100. That was a 99 game, right? And then of course you got the two free throws. I'm sorry, the one free throw that he did miss. He the last possession he was 1 for 2 from the free throw line. And then you go to the other end of the court. You got to go down quick. Joel Embiid finds wide open James Harden, and the debate is, should James have taken that last shot? But my thinking is, why shouldn't James Harden take that last shot? Isn't that why we went out and got a James Harden type player so he can take those last second shots? So we don't have to have Joel Embiid take those type of shots at the end of games. So I'm not mad at the shot selection. It just wasn't our night. And same thing like Saturday, it just wasn't our night. And that happens in the league, especially in the regular season. But again, more importantly, what I took away from tonight and on Saturday night, the Sixers have an absolute shot of winning a championship. The Western Conference, obviously, it's all, and we'll see what happens. But the Eastern Conference is up for grabs. It definitely is. You're going to sit here and tell me that the Sixers can't beat the Celtics or the Heat in a 7-game series? Will it be easy? Of course it won't be easy. That's the playoffs. But the Sixers absolutely have a chance to get the job done. So welcome everyone to Sixers Game Recap. Of course, I'm your boy El Parcero Philly, night of all things sports and culture, here in the beautiful city of Philadelphia. Again, live from the train station, talking real quick about the Sixers and the Sixers. I guess a little bit of the Celtics and the Heat, mainly from last night here. But one thing I do want to also talk about is the starting lineup. I constantly still am hearing the bitching and moaning, complaining about Tyrese Maxey not in the goddamn starting lineup. And again, I just don't understand how that is relevant. Tyrese Maxey last night had himself an absolute ball game. He dropped 23 points. He went off in the third quarter, and he really helped the Sixers to come back because in the first half, the Sixers, listen, they got to the free throw line, but everything else, they could not get shots off. And that's because a lot of turnovers were happening. They had 10 turnovers in the first half, and Miami's just an efficient team. And so when you're down that big, someone needs to step up. And Joel Embiid was not doing that. And it was clear as day. He's already calmed Tyrese Maxey. He's told Tyrese Maxey he needs to step up. And Tyrese Maxey stepped up in a big way in that third quarter. Knocking down threes, driving to the paint, going to the foul line. He was doing a little bit of everything. And there's been a lot of talk about his confidence. And I think his confidence is pretty good. I just think that, again, it's a long season. You go through your bumps and bruises. He's a young player. He's going to go through that. But to me, him starting or him not starting does not matter. What matters to me is Tyrese Maxey and his defense. I'm not worried about his offense. I'm not. I don't. We none of us should be worried about his offense. He's already shown in the past that He's got enough offensive game, and he will be fine in that category. But the defense is a big problem. And that's the main reason why he's just not starting. And that's the reason why I don't really care if he's not starting. Because if not, you have D'Anthony Melton in there. We talked about it before. Yes, he's hot and cold. But in the end of the game, D'Anthony Melton's not out there. It's Tyrese Maxey, and that's what matters most. It's not how you start games; it's how you finish it. The argument of, oh well, the Sixers started off slow on the night. Well, okay. Again, it's not how you start; it is how you finish. I think what last Thursday when we played against Memphis and we came back from 17 down. Does it matter that we were down 17? No, we still got the W, and none of you guys were complaining about any of that. So for me personally, I don't care who's in the starting lineup per se. Obviously, I need James and Joel in there. I need James and Joel, at least one of them in the game for most of it. And you had that for the most part. You had a James, either James or Joel was running the backup units or backups or just a different unit without one of the other player out there. And that's what you need to see. All right. And you saw defensively for the Sixers, you saw some 2-3 zone. I didn't understand that one per se because it is the Miami Heat. That's not a team that is a questionable shooting team. They obviously can put up shots. They obviously can make their shots. So I was definitely questioning a lot of that. Um, Daniels is someone I definitely still want to see more of. Unfortunately, there was an instance where he came right into the game in the first half and he gets himself two quick fouls. I do think Jalen is going through a transition period. He's a new player. He's a young player as well. So he's just still trying to get acclimated with Doc because I was trying to find his role with this basketball team. But there is a part of me that would love to see McDaniels in the starting lineup, honestly. And I think that if you can find McDaniels getting comfortable here, and if you could somehow, some way slide him into the starting lineup, then in that case, I would be fine with, and I would beg for Tyrese Maxey to start at that point. The reason why I don't like Tyrese Maxey starting with James Harden is because they're both defensive liabilities, and that's your backcourt. And this is a league that is predicated on the backcourt. So if you were able to get a Jalen McDaniels, more of an athletic wing out there, I would feel more comfortable with having Tyrese Maxey starting there. But again, it's a defensive liability. When it's the last minutes of the game, you need big shots. That is why you want Tyrese Maxey in there for those type of moments. And obviously, the other issue with the Sixers team is the backup center position. And we saw Paul Reed get a significant amount of minutes here on Monday night. No Dwayne Dedman still. I'm curious to see what that is. And obviously, you got the news that Nerlens Noel on the buyout market by the Detroit Pistons. Is that someone that Daryl Morey also looks at? Remember last year, we went with JaVale McGee, and then we got DeAndre Jordan when he was on the buyout market. So it is a possibility that Daryl Morey could be looking at that option as well. But regardless, it is definitely a liability. Joel Embiid manned it down for the most part. But really, what killed you here tonight was just a team ball in general. When you're turning the ball over as when you are not putting together good offensive production, that is a problem. The offense was a big problem in the stretch of this game. I mean, you cut the lead down to 1 point, luckily, but the shot selections were just terrible. Joel Embiid with the Kobe fadeaway at the baseline, like with seconds left in the game, with like 20 seconds left in the game. Like what kind of shot selection is that? Obviously, James Harden missing that last second three, and James in back-to-back games, in tough losses, you want a little bit more from him, and that's again, it's part of the learning curve. And the thing is too is that like I feel like some of the stuff is that partakes in losses during the regular season, I feel like come playoff time, it's not even gonna matter. I feel like James Harden in the playoff makes that shot. Right? I feel like Joel Embiid against Boston, last second heave, he makes that shot. And that's just the way it works. And yes, I am gearing myself up for this run for the Sixers. We are losing these games right now to prepare ourselves for the playoffs. I truly and honestly believe that. All right, just so we can go all the way to the finals just to lose and have our heart broken. But that's part of being a sports fan. You want to give yourself a chance. And if you're not enjoying the Sixers basketball, like why are you watching? You have a chance. Like watching the process years was not fun. Everyone gets coming at Philly sports. You lost the MLS Cup final, the World Series, the Super Bowl. Dude, I don't care. We put ourselves in a spot, and that's pretty fun. You know how hard it is to do that? And if the Sixers do the same thing too, I'm going to ride on that ride wherever it takes us, even if it's heartbreak, because you don't always get these opportunities, and they're really freaking dope. Now, again, I still don't fully trust Doc Rivers in a playoff-like situation, but I think it's too far gone. You're not going to fire him with literally 2 months left in the regular season. That's just not what you do. And Doc is saying, listen, I don't like the lack of accountability with Doc Rivers, but at least he recognizes the issues with the Sixers, and it does seem like he is trying to fix it with this team. But obviously, it's on the players at that point, right? It seems like Doc recognizes the problems, but if the players aren't, reacting to it, that is a bit of a problem. I don't think that this team doesn't respond to Doc because I think that there is a level of respect for Doc Rivers in that locker room. I think it's more so on them. It's consistency. It's doing it night in and night out, and that's what you have to do. This stretch that we're going to go on, it is not going to be pretty. But you guys can't take it for wins and losses. You do still, I think for this team, you still want to stay in the top three in the East. You want those top three spots, and I think the Sixers can still stay in that realm. But right now, what you need to do is you need to make sure you focus on the things that are not working for you. Focus on the boarding. Focus on the transition, offense and defense. Tyrese Maxey, yes, I know we want him out there as much as possible because of that transition, and I agree with you. But listen, the Warriors showed you, the Bucks showed you, the Lakers showed you. You still need defense to win a championship in this league. So we will see what happens. Luckily, you get to go back to Miami, where typically they don't play well, but you have another opportunity to get back at Miami, and hopefully they show up in that point. Hopefully they get some better offense. We shall see what happens. But I got to head out, guys. That's my train. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to what I had to say here tonight. Make sure you guys enjoy the rest of your day. And as always, let's go Philly Sports.